Now, imagine for a moment what it'd feel like if all of this, all these old stories, these old patterns, these old limits, simply weren't there anymore. Because there was a time before all of this, before the rules, before the fears, before the need to prove anything. There was a time when you were free, when you explored without hesitation, when you felt without shame, when you expressed yourself without fear. And something within you remembers that time. Something within you knows that the version of you who was told to be tougher, to shut down, to suppress and control, that version of you was simply trying to survive. And yet, survival is not living, because real strength was never about suppression. Real strength was never about hiding. Real strength was always about presence. And isn't it fascinating how effortlessly you begin to remember? Because the mind loves to learn. The mind loves to explore. And the moment you open to the idea that there's more to learn, more to see, more to experience, you become unstoppable. And so, as you listen to these words, as they sink in, as they settle, as they become a part of you, you might begin to notice something shifting. Because each belief you release, each rule you let go of, each limit you dissolve, it opens up new space for possibilities, new space for choices, new space for freedom. Because what if the very thing you feared, feeling, expressing, being vulnerable, what if they were never threats but doorways? Doorways to deeper connection, doorways to a richer experience of life, doorways to a level of strength that's effortless, unshakable, undeniable. And as you feel this shift, as you allow yourself to embody this new way of being, something powerful happens. You no longer need to prove. You no longer need to chase. You no longer need to play a role that was never yours to play. Because your worth was never in question. And now as you step forward, as you integrate this new understanding, as you embrace this new energy, you begin to notice how differently people respond to you. Because people don't remember what you say. They don't remember what you do. They remember how you make them feel. And now you make them feel something different. Because you are different. You're free. You're present. You're limitless. And that changes everything. Because isn't it interesting how the mind can build walls? Walls that were once meant to protect, but in time became cages. Walls of toughness, walls of control, walls of suppression, walls that said, be strong, be untouchable, don't let them see. Yet what happens when you step outside of those walls? What happens when you realize they were never real to begin with? Because the truth is, strength was never about hiding, confidence was never about pretending, and control was never about shutting down. In fact, real control, real power, real freedom comes from something far deeper. It comes from presence. It comes from expression. It comes from embracing the truth of who you are, fully, unapologetically. Because every single time you try to suppress, to push down, to ignore, what did it create? More struggle, more stress, more chaos. Yet, what if the opposite were true? What if allowing yourself to feel was the key to power? What if embracing your emotions was the gateway to strength? What if leaning into vulnerability made you untouchable? Because think about it. What's stronger? A rigid, unbendable structure that cracks under pressure? Or a tree that bends with the wind, flowing, adapting, moving with life, instead of against it? And isn't it fascinating how your mind is already beginning to shift? Because something within you knows the old ways no longer serve you, knows that freedom comes not from shutting down, but from opening up. And you've already begun, because right now, as these words settle into the deepest part of your mind, you can feel something changing. The old walls crumbling, the old limits dissolving, the old rules breaking apart piece by piece. And as they do, what's left? Space. Space for something new. Space for curiosity. Space for growth. Space for the limitless boundless, unstoppable energy of you. Because you were never weak, you were never fragile, you were never broken. You were simply learning. And now you get to learn something new. That you're safe to express. That you're powerful in your presence. That you're magnetic when you let yourself feel. When you let yourself be real. When you let yourself show up fully in every single moment. And the more you embrace this, the more you realise there's nothing to prove. There's nothing to defend. There's only the endless, unstoppable, limitless expansion of you. And that changes everything. Because isn't it fascinating how the mind, in its infinite complexity, it once believed shutting down was the way to be safe. That suppressing, controlling, toughening up, and proving something was the way to survive. What if survival was never the goal? What if thriving was? Because deep down, something within you, it already knows real strength isn't in shutting down, it's in opening up. Knows that real confidence isn't in pretending, it's in being. Knows that real control isn't in gripping tightly, it's in flowing freely. And as you listen now, something shifts, a realization, a knowing, a remembering. Because somewhere along the way, the world convinced you to armour up, to hide, to suppress, to act. Was that ever really you? Or was it just a mask? And isn't it interesting how masks always get heavy? How control becomes exhausting? How shutting down only leads to feeling more lost? And now you see the truth. That the more you let go, the more power you have. That the more you embrace what is, the more you become what could be. That the more you accept yourself fully, completely, unapologetically, the more the world bends to meet you in ways you never could have imagined. Because freedom, it isn't outside of you. It was never in proving, in fighting, in forcing. Freedom has always been within. And as these words sink in, as they settle into the deepest part of your unconscious mind, something inside you wakes up. A curiosity, a fascination, a hunger to explore, to learn, to expand. Because all you know is you know nothing. That's the most powerful place to be. Because when you know nothing, everything becomes possible. So imagine now, what happens when you step into life with the eyes of wonder? What happens when you embrace every moment as a chance to grow? What happens when you stop checking out and start checking in? Checking in to the sensations in your body. Checking in to the whispers in your intuition. Checking in to the limitless, boundless, unstoppable energy of you. Because the past was just training. The struggle, just a lesson. And now you see clearly. You were never trapped. You were never weak. You were never broken. You were simply waking up. And now, as you step forward, as you embrace this truth, as you let this new way of being integrate into every cell, every thought, every breath, you feel it. A deep, unshakable knowing. A freedom unlike anything before. A fire burning brighter than ever. And from this place, anything is possible, isn't it?